Hey everybody, I'm Severely Mame, and today I wanted to challenge myself to get one of my knitting projects finished in the next 24 hours. Now it is 1 o'clock, and I pulled out the frozen box to finally finish my frozen sweater. Now, I've been working on this for a year and a half. I put it down after the holiday season last year and then did not pick it back up until right now. I want it done. I don't think it's going to fit me anymore. I've put on too much weight, I think, to actually fit into this correctly. But no matter what, I won't know until I have finished it and tried it on. So I'm giving myself 24 hours to finish knitting the last sleeve, put on the collar, piece everything together, and block it by tomorrow. So hopefully by 1 o'clock tomorrow I will have this sweater on, unless it's too small. I'll hopefully have a full sweater finished to show you. Now I have not looked at this pattern in a year. I kept a little booklet of where I was at and all the alterations to the pattern that I had made to make it fit me at a 40 bust. Now I'm at a 42. So like I said, there's a good chance it won't fit me anymore, but I'm still gonna try it out and at least get this project done. Now since I started this, I've gotten a bit more advanced in knitting and faster, so I am feeling like getting this done in 24 hours is something I can actually do. I have 17 inches in length knit on this sleeve. I have to get it to 19 before I start doing the decrease and the Fair Isle. And then once I do that, it will be quick. Now I haven't done Fair Isle since I did this project, so it will probably take me a minute to get back into the swing of how to do it. But I know I've got my work cut out for me because I'll have to weave in all the ends and finish the knitting, piece it all together, block it. I'll just steam block it to see, and if it doesn't fit, I might wet block it and stretch it a little bit more and hopefully get it to fit me, because I do like it. Even though the colors are not what I thought that they were going to be. I was going for the Arendelle Aqua color, which was Disney's color when I had started it, but it is a little bit more green than it is blue. But all in all, I still want to finish the sweater, at least to have it done and out of my project limbo. So with that, I'm going to get started into this project, and hopefully we'll see tomorrow that this sweater is done. Okay, so here is just a look at what I'm working with. Like I said, one sleeve is done, the front and back of the body are done, one sleeve is unfinished, and I still have to do the entire collar and piece it together. That's what the finished sweater should look like. I'm not sure what colorway this was originally done in, I can't remember. But I figured out doing color work with this project, and I forgot that I actually really do enjoy doing color work. But here is what I've got finished for you. It's been in storage for quite some time, and I'm ready to knock this project into the finished pile and not have to think about it anymore. So I start in on knitting. I wish this was the speed that I actually worked at these days. It feels like it sometimes, but you know, it's probably not possible to knit this quick. So this is just regular knit one row, purl one row. Here I am still doing that. I was trying to figure out good angles for knitting, and I didn't think about the fact that wearing an all black outfit was going to wash out my pale skin that does not touch the sun, and this knitting. But I am working through this fairly quickly. It's not a super advanced pattern. I had already finished all of my increases at this point. So it was just straight knitting until I got to the 19 inches that I needed to finish the length of the sleeve. Now, the pattern suggested 18 inches, but I knew that my long long arms were always a problem, so I added even an extra inch on, and I think that that was the right decision. Okay, so I have just finished getting the 19 inches done that I needed to start the sleeve decrease and Fair Isle pattern. So it's been about an hour and I'm gonna say 15 minutes that I got that inch and a half that I needed done. And now I'm moving on to the next step. So here I just wanted to show you the cuff is a knit to purl to, and then I did all of the shaping and got it to 19 inches long. Now here is where I go on to knitting in the color work. There's a little chart on the pattern. I was not going off of the chart exactly when I first did this. I would actually redraw it so I could cross off where I was when I was first learning. Now I've encountered an error. Now it's not an error, it's that I had added an extra 4 stitches to this, and I forgot about that. So I was like a little confused where I was, but I figured it all out and then got back on. Now I struggle with the purl rows and holding like the yarn in my left hand. With my knit rows, I'm pretty okay with it, but the purl ones I'm struggling. This is something I'll have to kind of get better at in the future. I think I'm gonna have to do like a bigger color work project to really get used to it, because I've only done pretty limited color work so far. Okay, so it's a little after 3:30 and I have finished the color work on the sleeve. It was not too hard to remember how to do, but I finished it, and now I'm going to just work on getting this sleeve entirely done. I started about 2.5 hours ago, so I'll be able to get the sleeve done tonight and maybe be able to cast on the neckline. So then tomorrow all I have to deal with is weaving in ends and then putting it all together and blocking it. Okay, so last night I finished the sleeve and then I cast on the neckband. Now it is not looking great. I don't particularly love it, but I also am going to wait to see how it looks once it's like not attached to the 3 needles. We'll see. I'm getting there. It's like, I don't know, probably 7:30 in the morning, and I am gonna get this done today. Now, I didn't get any footage of me finishing the second sleeve or finishing up the neckband, but that is finished. I ended up liking how it came out for the most part, and I tested and it fit over my head. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze, but I'm able to do it, so I am moving on. Now I was like, oh, I'll start weaving in ends and then go on to piecing it together. And this is kind of where I maybe started to make a time mistake, because weaving in ends takes a lot of time, especially with color work. So that's where I kind of decided to make the call that I'm like, let me start piecing it all together. I can weave in the ends after the 24 hours if I need to. Now, at this point, I still haven't blocked it or anything. I am just going in and I am backstitching on the sleeve piece into the armhole. I'm doing this before I sew up the sides, which had been suggested to me with past sweaters. And that's actually how the directions have you do it in this one. So I thought it was the perfect time to try this out. Now, I haven't tried out this method in knitting ever. I've done it in pieces that I've sewn. When you're sewing some menswear patterns, it'll have you set the sleeve in and then sew up the side of the sleeve and the side of the body all at once. I haven't encountered it as much in women's wear, but it happens too. The dirndl blouse that I have worn in the past is done that way. But here I'm just piecing together the sleeve to the body. I changed the yarn color out where the main color changes. So I do like the main part of the cap in the gray, and then the aqua color is like the last 2 inches of each end. It's fairly simple a process. Backstitching just takes a long time because I want to make sure to keep my stitches close enough together that I don't get any like pulls or gaps when I put it on, because in the past when I backstitched, I have noticed that I have to do it a little bit tighter than I think. Because in past projects I've been doing it, I was like, yeah, this looks good, and then I look at it, I'm like, no, from the outside, I'm like, no, if any stress is on this, you can see a hole. So I was backstitching it quite a bit tighter. Oh, I left here for a minute. But now I'm back. And then I went back into putting on this sleeve. Now, this process did take me a while. Just putting on these sleeves took me probably an hour and a half. I did lose a chunk of my day to doing some online stuff that I wasn't expecting to have to do today. But, you know, I needed to do it. So I lost that time for my 24-hour challenge. Also, you know, I had to cook dinner last night, so I lost a few hours there, and then I had to bathe, and I almost didn't, but I looked like such garbage that I was like, oh, I'm going to be on video. It's worth losing the half an hour to, like, getting ready to look nice in this video, or nice enough. I did not put on any makeup or style my hair. But, you know, I put a center part in and a turban on. What more can you ask of me, people? I'm trying to finish a knit in 24 hours. So I've gotten both sleeves seamed on at this point, and now I am sewing up the sides. I am notably bad at this. I hate it. I wish I could figure out a way for me to enjoy this process. I am just not good at it, so I don't like it. But that doesn't mean I'll never have to do it, so I just have to get better at it. I think especially with fingering weight projects, there's just so many rows to line up and connect to each other that it takes me hours, especially having to do from the waist seam to the cuff. It is a lot of time. There's just no denying it is a lot of time to do one action that you don't like. But I knew I was like, I'm going to try and get this done. I'm just going to do this as quickly but also precisely as I can. And honestly, this is the point where I start to lose it. I'm like, oh no. I keep looking at the time and I'm like, can I do it? Will this be done for 1 o'clock? Here is your spoiler alert. No, I can't. But here is what I have done when I hit that I think it was like a little bit after 1 o'clock mark. So it's about 10 after 1, and I have officially failed in this challenge, but I will show you how much I did get done. So, yesterday, one sleeve was completely unfinished being made. I actually couldn't tell you which one that was, but I was able to do the color work on the missing sleeve and get it all the way knit up, and then I knit the neckband in. I seamed on the arms, and I've got about a little more than half of this side seamed together because I'm seaming from the waist up down to the cuff. It takes quite some time. I kind of forget how long it takes to actually piece a side seam and a long sleeve together. I still have the whole other sleeve and then my ends to pull in. I thought that I had a good handle on the amount of work that there was to do, but I obviously was incorrect. But I think the good part about this is I have the majority of the sweater together. I'm going to continue to work on it and get it done as quickly as I can, but I did not make the 24-hour mark that I was trying to. I will say, after I did the neckline this morning, I just quickly kind of pulled it over my head just to see. And I think there's a chance this sweater may fit me. I won't be able to tell until everything is seamed up, but if it does fit, which I think it could, I will include that into a future video. But yeah, totally failed the 24 hours to finish knitting this, but it's fine because if I would have rushed it, it might not have been as nice. What I will say is once this is finished and I try it on and see how it fits, I will rewrite the original pattern for this star yoke sweater with my additions on how I made it for a 40-42 bust. If it doesn't fit, it'll be more for like a 38-40 bust. And that will go up on my Patreon. Because the way I resized it, everything still pieces together right, which is nice. There's a little bit of extra stitches kind of all around everything. So I will put that up on my Patreon, like I said, once this is finished and I know how it fits. But yes, I also did not get to block it yet because I was going to block this one when it was done. I really thought I was going to be able to do this, but you know, yesterday I started work right on it after I finished recording the intro, and then I worked on it all night with the exception of like when I was making dinner and eating, and then when I had like done about half of the neckband and it was like time to go to bed, and I should have just stayed up a little longer to finish that neckband because even restarting it this morning, knitting on 3 needles takes me a little bit more time to get into the groove of. So I was going a little bit slower. So I wish I would have finished that last night so I could have focused all today on seaming everything together. But, you know, I'm not too mad. This will be done probably in the next day or two. I might just edit this video and post it because it's going up today. And then get right back to work on things. Here, I'm still attached to it, but here is the unfinished but close to done sweater. This frozen sweater will, you know, haunt my dreams until the day it's finished. So I would like that day to be soon. You guys have watched me fail. I think another challenge. I might have done something before where I failed too, but it's fine. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification down below if you want to be told whenever I post a video. If you really like what's going on here and want things like the resized version of this pattern, you can follow the link below to my Patreon and help me create content just like this video. I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching.